If you're struggling to earn 3 stars at Town Hall 14, these are the best attacks you need to be using in 2025. Despite some balance changes coming in the next update, let's break each of them down to improve your 3-star success. Let's kick things off with the Fireball Rocket Balloons, which is getting affected at Town Hall 14 in the next update since the Fireball is being nerfed. However, it's still going to be a very consistent strategy. So to start this attack, you're going to start with the Grand Warden Walk. This is aimed to clear out as many defenses and just allow him to walk one side of the base completely. So just using a couple balloons, any hog riders as well to look for Teslas is typically important with the Grand Warden Walk. In this case, you do want to speed up his Warden Walk by using a rage spell, and this is going to allow you to use his 4 to 5 invisibility spells in order to launch the fireball right towards the enemy CC. This is going to get you quite a number of buildings, and unfortunately at Town Hall 14, this did get a small nerf where you're not able to get as many buildings, but it will still work at higher Town Hall levels. But for the most part, your Warden will still be able to walk one side of the base and clear a plethora of value. Now, while your Warden is walking, you should also have the Flame Flinger clearing out an entire compartment. This is going to allow you to get plenty of great value off of the base, but for the majority of this, you do want to be very careful of things like mortars and expos. These are going to outrange your Flame Flinger and going to outright counter you. Other than those two, you've got your Barbarian King and Archer Queen to start working in towards the core of the base. The goal here is to make sure that you're able to get into the base clearing a plethora of key defenses like the Eagle Artillery, Expos, and even Inferno Towers. So while your Flame Flinger and your Warden Walk are walking those two sides of the base, you've got your heroes to start working towards the core and clearing a large area out. With the King, Spiky Ball and Earthquake Boots, despite the nerf, is still particularly strong and is going to work really well because of just the amount of walls that the King is able to open, which is great for the Archer Queen with her Magic Mirror and Healer Puppets. You'll be able to rage all that up and do plenty of damage, which is going to allow you to clear a ton off of the base, which is going to set up the rest of your attack pretty well. This is pretty much going to finish the base off with both your Royal Champion and your Rocket Balloons. Overall, your Royal Champion with her Rocket Spear and Seeking Shield is going to be super consistent. It's going to be able to clear a ton of defenses, and of course, maybe even the Town Hall. And of course, you've got Rocket Balloons to help clear the backside of the base. Since they're so quick and they do so much damage, you're going to be able to very easily overwhelm the rest of the defenses. Just make sure you have minions and any other troops left for cleanup, and for the most part, you will 3-star still with time to spare. As long as you can get that fireball off, you are good to go for a 3-star. With the Life Gem buff coming in the next update, the Super Hogs have become way better and way more consistent, especially with those heal spells. So in order to start this attack, we're going to be using a Royal Champion Charge. Instead of using any other ability, we're going to run the Rocket Spear. This is basically going to simulate what it's like having the haste vial, but we're able to take down some really key defenses early on. The Electro Boots are able to clear out any skeleton traps, so that's not a problem, before we start using our invisibility spells. You can use your invisibility over low HP defenses like Teslas, as this will allow you to clear them without attacking them. Other than this, you're just going to continue to use your invisibility spells about every 4 seconds in order to make sure that she's able to clear a nice chunk of the base in order for you to recall her. This then just leaves your King and Queen to start working towards the Town Hall. You're going to be able to get a large area off of the base, but in order to get your King and Queen in, you need to use the Siege Barrack. And this is going to allow you to cut off the heroes so they can actually work into either the core of the base or going in towards the Town Hall, wherever it is. Majority, you're going to be able to deal with the enemy CC, which is a massive plus, and you're going to be able to use your heroes with the Barbarian Kings, Earthquake Boot, and Spiky Ball, which is going to clear plenty of defenses, while also having a Rage and the Magic Mirror to help clear a plethora of defenses around the compartments. Other than this, this is going to establish your Super Hogs to work around the base. So while your heroes are getting the defenses down, you've got your Super Hogs and a couple Hog Riders to start working in. Using a couple Headhunters to deal with the enemy king is always really important, but you should always use an early heal spell with the Super Hogs. Now, underneath the Life Gem, both the Hog and the Rider get a massive buff in HP, and they become really, really good. So overall, having the Life Gem with the Super Hogs and the heal spells is very consistent. Not only do they have nearly 3000 HP, but they also just give a lot of value to the Super Hogs themselves. Other than that, you're really just going to be able to clear through the rest of this, having the Electro Boots for the Royal Champion in order to support the Hog Riders, and that really just leaves with cleanup with the minions, and you should be good to go for a pretty simple 3-star. Now, despite the Fireball's upcoming nerf, Fireball Super Witches at Town Hall 14 is not going to die, and it's still going to be one of the best attacks that you can run. Overall, you're going to start this off pretty simply by using the Grand Warden, and with just a few invisibility spells, you're going to be using them over defenses. This way, you can send the Fireball in for a compartment and use your Earthquake spells to clear it. This really doesn't take all too much, and you're able to set up a really quick funnel for your Super Witches. Now, on the other side of your funnel, you're going to run the Queen with the Siege Barrack. This is going to basically establish two sides of your funnel, with the Queen moving with the Siege Barrack, getting plenty of defenses and other buildings down, which is going to control your Super Witches right the way into the base. From there, just make sure to lure your Warden over with the Super Witches, and this way you have a couple balloons to look for Seeking Air Mines, the Barbarian King to start moving in so he can open walls later on with his Earthquake Boot and Spiky Ball, and of course, as you work in, you can deal with enemy heroes with Headhunters, and this way, this kind of allows you to push in. Having an early Rage to get your Super Witches, Big Boys, and anything else doing some really quick damage, you will be able to also deal with the enemy CC, in this case with a poison spell. This really does allow you to start moving in and specifically clearing out the core of the base, along with using a jump spell to get a little bit deeper, especially towards the Town Hall. This allows you to use another Rage, and of course the Earthquake Boot and Spiky Ball for the King. This is just going to open walls and deal nice damage while they deal with the Town Hall. This really just leaves the back end with the Royal Champion and her Rocket Spear with the Seeking Shield. This is just a very consistent way to clear defenses without having to go really close up to them, and it's definitely her best set if you're running her on the back end. Other than this, you really should have been able to clear a large area off the base, and this should allow you to just leave the rest of it for cleanup, which is why this attack is just so strong. Even though the Earthquake Boots are getting a nerf in the next update, they're still going to be very strong with the Electro Titan Smash, which is one of my favorite armies. Overall, this attack is going to start with using the Siege Barrack on one side, using a Super Wall Breaker to get them a little bit deeper, and the Golem with the Archer Queen. This is going to establish two sides of our funnel, with the P.E.K.K.A.s and Wizards on one side, and the Queen with her Magic Mirror and Healer Puppets to clear the other side. This is going to create enough of a lane for our Electro Titans to actually work towards the core of the base. Pathing here is critical, so we want to make sure that we're clearing as many buildings before we send in our Electro Titans. With the funnel set on both sides, you're going to send in your Electro Titans along with the Healer, Apprentice Warden, the King, and the Warden as you work in. The goal here is to clear out the core of the base with your entire push. You're able to easily deal with the enemy CC with a poison spell and the Electro Titans, and using an early Rage and jump is going to allow you to get in. Having the Grand Warden's Eternal Tome and Healing Tome allows you to get plenty of support and keep a large chunk of your army alive. This is where you've got the Spiky Ball and Earthquake Boots to clear a large area and open walls for your attack, which makes it a lot better. Other than this, the Healing Tome is really going to protect both your healers and the Electro Titans, and it just synergizes very well with everything. You also have your Royal Champion on the back end with, again, her Seeking Shield and Rocket Spear. This is very consistent. This can basically be used over the Electro Boots, and it's still very much good. And overall, you're going to be able to clear a plethora of defenses. Just make sure that you have some form of cleanup in order to help help speed up this attack so that way you don't have to worry about a time fail. But otherwise, this strategy is very strong, very consistent, and is definitely one of the better choices going past Town Hall 14. And despite the upcoming nerfs to the invisibility spell and the Electro Boots, they're still going to be one of the best options for the mass invisibility Mass Dragon army. Overall, you're going to do the same simple start. You're going to use your Royal Champion. If there is an outer defense that you can remove before using your Rocket Spears, go for it. But for the most part, you're going to use your Rocket Spears in order to clear as many buildings around a given area as much as you can. Now, of course, just be careful of skeleton traps because she could waste one of her shots. But other than that, you're going to start timing your invisibility spells every 4 seconds. The goal here is to at least get about 3 hits on higher HP defenses. This allows you to turn those buildings invisible, and then the Electro Boots can just do constant damage to them. You're going to be able to easily clear out those buildings, and the Builder Huts won't be able to heal them back since they've turned invisible. Other than this, you're just going to continue to follow your Royal Champion with the Electro Boots and the invisibilities. Just keep in mind that you want to always use it after at least 3 shots on a high HP defense like an Expo. This way you can actually get plenty of great value from your Royal Champion charge before you do anything else. Now it's time to set up your dragons, where you're going to use the queen with her giant arrow to snipe at least 2 air defenses. Typically, a corner shot is the best way, so look for those 4 corner bases that have air defenses there, and you should be able to remove them. This is going to also establish one side of your funnel. Using the queen with a poison spell can deal with the enemy CC with no problem, as you want to keep her alive. Her staying up is going to be very important for the entire rest of this attack. So for the most part, you've got your dragons to work in with a great funnel set on both sides, and this allows you to start working in towards the town hall. Now you also have the Stone Slimer working on a different side. Since there's no more air defenses, you can use it alone and clear defenses while the dragons are using the Eternal Tome and still moving towards the town hall. Other than that, you've got a rage spell that you can use with your dragons to start moving them in, along with the Minion Prince's Dark Orb. This is just going to protect your dragons while looking for Seeking Air Mines with the Henchman Puppet and slowing down key defenses like the Town Hall and an air defense. Other than this, you should still have plenty of dragons alive that should be able to easily overwhelm the rest of the base, and this should get you a very consistent 3-star if you played your cards right. And with these balance changes, there have been some slight tweaks for Town Hall 14, but hopefully this gives you an idea of how to get more 3-stars with the best attacks at Town Hall 14. If you're at Town Hall 15 though, I recommend checking out this video right here.